If you're not using Anki properly, you might as well not do it because you're just wasting your time. So in this video, I'll be going over how to use Anki properly in order to get its full benefits. And these tips will apply to you whether you're brand new to Anki or if you're already using Anki to make sure that you're optimizing it properly. If you're studying in medical school, these tips might be particularly helpful for you, but it will also apply to other subjects as well. I'll be going over 4 key concepts which I think are very important in order for you to get the full benefits of Anki. So let's get started. The first one is using it every day. Now, if you're not using Anki every day, you're basically defeating the whole purpose of the spaced repetition algorithm. The way Anki's algorithm works is it basically decides how long you'll see each card for and the time between each card. So if you're not doing your card on a day that Anki thinks you'll see them, then there'll be more time between you having seen that card before and you actually doing that card. And now it's not disastrous if it's just 1 or 2 days, but actually then your reviews will also start to pile up. And so when you get round to doing Anki, your workload will be very high and it's easy to just give up or just flick through the cards really quickly without doing it properly just to get the numbers down rather than actually using the Anki properly to actively recall your cards. So the way I found effective to actually make myself do the cards every day is using an add-on called Review Heat Map. So the way it works is it gives you a display on your dashboard of the days you've done Anki and fills it in green when you've done it. You can also change the color if you want in the settings, but the reason why this is very important is that when you have it straight in front of you when you open Anki for the first time, it will encourage you to fill in that green box for that current day. And so this has actually been a very useful tactic for me to start and maintain a streak. Before I had this add-on, I didn't have a streak. I probably didn't even do Anki every day, but since I've downloaded this add-on, it's been forcing me to do my Anki cards every day so that I don't lose that streak, so it becomes an important motivator. So tip number 2 is to plan out your revision. Now there's a very sweet Anki add-on called Anki Simulator, which essentially lets you see for a particular deck how long it will take to complete that deck if you say do a set number of cards per day. So you can enter, say I want to do 10 cards a day, and you can say I want to do the maximum reviews per day, and it will give you a little graph showing you how many cards you have to do per day and how long it will take for you to complete that deck. And so before this I was just guessing depending on how long it would take me to do the deck, but then I wouldn't really know how many reviews would come up. So it'd be difficult for me to plan my study schedule. If you use this add-on, you can actually then work out how many cards you're expected to do in a given number of days, then you can plan to see if that fits in with the amount of time you have available to do Anki each day. And that way you can actually say, right, let's give myself 1 hour every day to do my Anki, and then you can adjust the cards and see how long it will take for you to do that deck so that you'll be able to see, oh, okay, this is how many cards I can fit in each day in my allotted time. Why this add-on has changed the game for me is actually before this I'd have no idea how long a deck would take to complete, and I was just ending up doing too many reviews a day to the point where I got totally stressed out and I was thinking, right, I'm just never going to use Anki again. And this may be because I was fairly new to Anki myself, but essentially what I did in that situation is just said, right, okay, I'm going to do just 3 cards a day. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but by actually starting small and working my way upwards, it's made me more comfortable using Anki every day rather than feeling stressed out because I've got too many reviews. Tip number 3 is to do with memorizing lists. Now, quite frankly, I think it's quite bad to memorize lists, and myself, whenever I have a card which has lists, I find it so difficult for me to recall that card because I might say have a list of 5 items and I'll get 2 of them right, but then if I get the other 3 wrong, then I should be isolating just the ones I get wrong, not seeing the ones I get right again and again. And I don't think lists are a very effective way of making Anki cards. How to actually make Anki cards that are effective and make them properly, I'll be covering in another video, so make sure you're subscribed if you're interested in watching that. But in medical school especially, lists are avoidable. So the way I like to approach them is I like to think visually. And this was actually a tip I got from a friend. When I asked her, okay, how do you memorize lists in medical school? She actually told me, okay, a good way of thinking about it is to go systematically from top to bottom when you're thinking of your list. So if I'm thinking about the causes of vomiting and I've got that into a list, I might start off with the top of the head and work my way down the body. So I might say, okay, there's intracranial causes, and I go down to here and so on and so forth. I'm not going to regurgitate the list because that's not one of my Anki cards. I mean, low-key, I got asked that in the ward round and I didn't know the answer, so maybe I should make it into a card. But anyway, the point is to think visually and to have a system for regurgitating a memorized list, otherwise it just won't go in here. Well, it won't go in mine anyway. And the other thing you can do is use overlapping closes. So this is another add-on. It sounds very complicated, but all you have to do is essentially put your card with the list items on it, and then it will ask you to guess each item one by one one and it will show you the clue of the previous item. That way the card is not just asking you to recall everything in that list, but it's asking you to recall it one by one, and the ones you do get wrong you can mark again, the ones you get right you can flag as good. Point number 4 is using images where possible. Now, if you're using Anki every day, it can get very dry when the only thing you see is text. So by using pictures, you can actually spice up your revision and, maybe get excited every time a picture comes up, because, like studying and revision isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but if we can make it somewhat more tolerable, then I think using pictures is a good way of doing that. Now, I don't just mean, chuck in memes and cat pictures and whatever. If you want, that's up to you, but actually use relevant pictures that provide context for a particular card or topic. So for example, I've got a card on what is blepharospasm, and for the life of me I could not remember that card because it was the first time I ever came across that concept. But as soon as I put a picture of an eyelid twitching on it, then it instantly just made me think of that image and it helped me memorize that card a lot more efficiently. Or if I've got a card saying what is blepharitis, rather than just saying, oh, it's inflammation of the eyelids, if I actually put a picture of it, that will help me remember that card a lot more. I also like to make use of image occlusions. This is particularly helpful if you're learning anatomy. Essentially what this allows you to do is to block parts of a certain image and then to recall that aspect of that image. The way I like to use that in clinical medicine, because we don't have much anatomy as we did in pre-clin, is to actually use, maybe in CT scans and stuff, block out particular parts and to ask myself to identify what I'm pointing to. You can also use it to learn anatomy, as I said, and learn it to use tables and stuff. It's actually very handy to have image occluded cards. And what's also very handy is to have the right add-ons. As you can see, I referenced a few add-ons. I'll link them down in the description below. But the reason why they're so important is they make your workflow a lot more efficient when it comes to studying for Anki. I've actually made another video covering the best add-ons I think you should use in Anki, so if you're interested in checking that out, then click the link up here. I'll also put it in the description below. If you're new to this channel, my name is Abian. I'm a medical student studying in London. I've also recently started a new newsletter called Swift Sunday. Now I know you don't have much time, but it's essentially going to be one idea that I discovered in the week, one quote, and my latest video. So if you're interested in signing up, then make sure you click the link in the description below. With that being said, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, and I'll catch you again in my next video.